Well, I mean, what's so striking to me about that idea, though, is because, I mean, obviously, apocalypse narratives have become very in vogue in the past 10, 20 years, right? Especially in the past 10 years. Season 9 of The Walking Dead or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably on season... There's like 5 Walking Dead spin-off shows.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still on. Walking Dead will be on for the rest of your life.
Right, because there's like 9 spin-offs, too.
Exactly. Yeah, precisely.
Gotta love very plastic IPs.
Yeah. Well,
Everyone stream.
I mean,
That show would have been, if they used the 28 Days zombies on that show, it would have been over in one season.
If they could run?
Fast-moving zombies, you know.
My whole thing, though, is like, if there is an apocalypse, right, and I'm not immediately handed some kind of like warlord capabilities, it doesn't sound good to me to live in a bunker with a bunch of like slaves, whatever, you know, what your security force that you're no longer paying. I would probably rather die with everybody else I know. And my question here is like, these people, like, they become sort of obsessed with surviving longer or like enduring these things that they themselves help create, which actually sounds almost like hellish to me. But the enthusiasm with which they approach it is extraordinary. And like, how do they have any justifications for this? Or is there any like, I mean, how do they even think about it themselves?
I think it's a secret wish more than it is a fear, you know. And this was when I was with stories. I was with Timothy Leary when he was reading the book about Nicholas Negroponte starting Media Lab, Stuart Brand's book, and Stuart Brand has all of his own issues as well. And he's writing this book praising the Media Lab, and you know, we're just sitting there during the day reading, and he's writing all this stuff, Leary, in the book, and felt tip, and I'm thinking he loves this book. And he finally finishes the book, he slams the cover, and he throws it across the room, and he goes, blah, blah. Like, it was this horrible thing. I'm like, what? And he says, first, less than 3% of the names in the index are women. What does that tell you? And then he said, and second, he said, these guys are trying to recreate the womb. That's what they want to do with their technology. They all had mothers who were not able to anticipate their every need when they were growing up, and now they want technology, some algorithm, to bring them each thing. They want to live in a little tech bubble and have stuff brought to them. You know, the ideal, you know, sex slave robot.
Yes.
You know, this and that. So there's no real women, no real nature, nothing unpredictable. Everything comes. But that means being ultimately completely alone. And the apocalypse, this fear of pollution and infection and crime and climate.
Something breaking through that bubble of being alone, basically, that they've constructed. I mean, Peter Thiel is like famously I remember that New Yorker profile on him where it's like very clear that what he wants to construct is like, he's like, we could just have Neverland. I mean, not in the Michael Jackson way, although perhaps maybe, I don't know, not saying anything.
I've heard some things
actionable about Mr. Thiel. However, you know, it was like, you know, a very like childlike fantasy of like creating this, like, you can just have whatever you want and be a kid forever world. That's like at the heart of a lot of this stuff that you're talking about.
But and this is what I was thinking about last night when I was trying to think about why Epstein and your work was so formative for me in thinking about this, is that these guys, it's not just a return to childhood, but to level up from everyone else in humanity. Like Peter Thiel's thing is his book, 0 to 1. What does that mean? I'm going to be an order of magnitude above everybody else. Or Zuckerberg with Meta. Oh, we're going to go meta on everybody else.
Yeah.
It's always about, you know, the derivative, the leveling up, the moving one order of magnitude above the common man. So now we are what Stuart Brand said, we are as gods, and we may as well start acting like it. You know, that they really think that they're one level above the common folk. That's what allows a sociopath like Epstein to have slaves, because they're not human. They're not thinking beings. They're flesh run by their genes. That's why a guy like him then gets in bed, so to speak, with Dawkins and Pinker and Dennett and all these people who have this staunchly atheistic, scientistic view of humanity as just we're robots running on genetic code, because then why not abuse these people?
Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey